save by Canio. Superb reactions from Kylie. Brilliant save by Dean Kylie. What a save!
Charlton Athletics Dean Kylie is with us.
I borrowed Cammy's wig for that kind of shot.
I thought that's the best I've ever seen you looking, I have to say.
Beautiful, hey? You make some mistakes when you're younger, don't you?
You do. Hey, I'm keeping out of this,
Absolutely.
by the way. It's been a great season, not just for Charlton, but for you personally. You must be thrilled.
Yeah, I've
with the
been
way
really
things have
pleased, yeah. Obviously made my way, like I said earlier, all the way through the divisions. Played in the Premier League and thought I did well the first season I was in. And it's just gone on from there.
gone. So the best season you've had?
I'd say it's up there, yeah. I think the last 2 or 3 years I've not missed a game and been ever present and tried to be consistent, reliable, dependable, and all the things that I think a goalkeeper should be, really.
I just wonder if that is the key, just been finding consistency. That's all you can ask, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's perfection, consistency.
Yeah, because stuff will happen throughout the year that's out of your control. It can't be helped, or it's not down to you, but you have to just remain on an even keel, really.
Is it a case of growing into the Premiership, Dean, that you get used to it?
I think in hindsight, my mistake was, or not a mistake, but when you first come into the Premiership, you look when you're going to play Arsenal, Man United and Liverpool at them places in Old Trafford and Highbury and see, put them out as the games, your premium games.
I watch
Unbelievable.
watch and analyse a lot of goalkeepers, and the one thing I can say about you is you're not got this thing in your mind about getting beat at the near post. You always give yourself a little bit of leeway because you know that if they shoot there, you can save it, so that you give you a chance to go across the goal. Where there's so many goalkeepers, they're paranoid about this near post.
Yeah, because people like yourself keep mentioning it. But no, I know what you're saying. I mean, it's a difficult position to play. It really, really is. I mean, there is so much to take on board, and like you say, you are scrutinised. And I think if you can do most things right most of the time, you're near on there. You're not doing bad. And
it's the same question we asked James. Do you feel you're improving there? Do you think you're getting better?
Yeah. I mean, I'm 30.
And in what respect?
I'm 33 at the moment, and I thought, when I was a youngster, I thought once you get over 30, you're done. You start creaking and everything like that. But I feel fit and well and feel strong, and I've played near on 600 games now, and there's no substitute for that, because any situation that comes about in games doesn't really faze you. Nothing really knocks you off your feet. And makes you think, God, I don't know how to deal or handle with this, because you've done it time and time again. And
does your good form, does that coincide with having a settled side, or a side that's doing well?
Absolutely. I mean, I put sort of my form and how things have gone for me down to the fact that Charlton as a club suits me down to the ground. It just seems to fit. There isn't a thing. It's a well-run club. I'm not going to go in one day and the training ground gates are going to be locked and we're going to defer our wages and there's going to be uproar and mayhem going on. You know that as an employee of the club, as a player, all you've got to do is bring your boots and gloves with you and play. And that suits me down to the ground, fits really well.
That's great for the lads to have that feeling, isn't it, that everything's taken care of and all you've got to do out and go and play your football.
Absolutely, yeah. You know yourself that when you're a player, all the stresses and strains that go on, and there are decisions that are made around a boardroom table, but they have nothing to do with the players. The players turn up at the training ground every day and perform to the best of their abilities. And if you're doing that, everything's great. And if you're not, you've got to raise your game. And it's as plain and simple as that. And that's really the philosophy at Charlton, I think.
Let's have a look at the game from yesterday against Leicester, a game that eventually sent Leicester down.
We were all smiles to begin with, but in the first few minutes of the game, it was a poor shot from Marcus Spence that found its way to the top corner.
Yeah,
it's an absolutely brilliant strike, isn't it, from the outside of his right foot?
We can say it's speculative. He obviously knows what he wants to do with it. Whether they end up in someone's lap in the stand or go in the top corner is down to a little bit of luck as well. But no, credit to him. Absolutely.
Terrific technique, yeah. Great save.
Yeah, really good. James will say, I think JJ did everything right there, picked his spot, executed it well, but Walks made a great save.
Absolutely. Good save from you?
He used Dickoff used the defender there, and used him as a bit of a barrier. So great header there. I thought that was to get us back in the game as well.
It was a great header. I mean, Jamie Scowcroft got caught underneath the ball, and it didn't
he did.
Did he?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought this was a great strike as well.
So this is the controversial incident. I've watched this a few times, and it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. The thing that obviously we'll talk about this a little bit more afterwards. The thing that you have to say is Jonathan's running away from goal. So how this can be a red, as well as a penalty. The penalty's enough, Mr. Stiles. We've said we'll talk about it again. As I said, after this actual game. But there's the arm comes across from Jonathan. Now his arm's tucked underneath him.
You can see by Nikos Dabasas's reaction, he couldn't believe it, could he?
But he psyched him out, hasn't he?
Yeah, because
he thinks it's going down the middle, doesn't he?
Well, there was one earlier at their place, I think, which Paolo scored.
Straight down the middle.
Well, you don't know what's going to come with him, do you? So Walks is aware of that, I think.
It's not the best wall in the world, and Graham Stewart turns his back when it gets fired towards him, but that is a shot of enormous power, immense power, I should say.
That's the first time I've seen that, and I was thinking that maybe I can get a block on that. But the pace is unbelievable. So credit Les for that. What a great
If you hadn't been on the sofa, I'd have said you should have got it, but
I'd have rang in then, Cammy. I'd have rang in.
And it's Leicester who are down when all's said and done. And it's been a brave effort, having spent no money at all, but that is the bottom line. They'll be playing in Division 1 next season. OK, let's have a look at the Les Ferdinand goal, because, I mean, as you said, Chris, it was... They don't often get hit as well as this.
You've got a good view of it, because the wall's not great, is it? I mean, why did you have the wall to the left-hand side there? Do you not want him in front of it, or...?
No, I mean, if you see, it's just favouring that side.
It's a straight shot, though, isn't it? But there's nobody for that ball to hit, because it's not gone high. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, but... I have to cover one side and me do the other, and for that to go down there.
Could you have done with another man in there then? Would that have made a difference?
No, I mean I want to see the ball. If you see Shuey's gone to charge that ball, and that's exactly what I want him to do. I'm trying to get a sight of the ball as well.
Would you be happy with that straight shot of goal, basically? Because there's only one charger coming towards you.
I think the thing was that about halfway through the flight of the ball's just sheared off to the left. And moved a long way.
Yeah, I mean, he struck that true, and there is a bit of movement on it, but
good one. No, it's true though,
but
isn't it?
I think the balls that we use.
Yeah.
I mean, you were saying before that.
I think Alan and Mervyn Day will look at that and think we maybe should have had another person in the wall, because it's a straight shot. It's not as if he's bent it round the corner or you've passed it to the side to try and make that space to shoot.
We have a man on the line, and I think that works really, really well.
Go on, tell us about this, because we have this discussion all the time.
I've heard. Honestly,
I've always said that years ago we said that coaches will have to look at the way of stopping a free kick.
I've got to tell you, as true as I sit here now, the ratio is that this year Henry has bent one in the top corner with a man on the line, and I've seen it, and it's outside of the line of the goal, and it's gone in the top bin. So you credit him for that. Man United did it. They scored a free kick and we had a man on the line, but that was a strike that hit the wall, came back to Neville, a strike that hit somebody else, and Van Nistelrooy scored. So 2 rebounds, and then that goal yesterday. And if I tell you that the last goal we conceded as a free kick in that situation, in that setup, was Warsaw when we were in the First Division. So the ratio is we've conceded 4 goals in the 5 years that I've been
and you've
there
stuck to it. And your role is
Absolutely.
You get a man on the line and you say, I don't even try and get across there. I've just got to cover this.
Yeah. So that cuts down the goal for me. And my thinking is, instead of like putting my weight on and thinking and trying to second guess what they're trying to do, I've got my bit to deal with. And yesterday, like I'm saying to you, that was a straight shot hit with tremendous pace. But I'll hold my hand up and say, if anyone was going to save it, it was me, not the man on the line in the area that it went.
So you're saying so it's virtually not having a wall. You're saying to that man, you can have a straight shot at me because I'll back myself to save it.
Pretty much
because you can see his foot.
Yeah, and also if you think that throughout the weekend, how many goals you see where a person has got it up and over the wall? I mean, Beach, you've done it no end of times, And all I'm trying to do is create a picture that makes them think. I mean, we played at Old Trafford the other week and they turned down a shot in the middle of the goal because we'd done that to pass, with no disrespect, to pass square to Phil Neville to have a strike at goal. Now, they don't do that on the training ground. Turn down a shot directly in the middle of the goal to pass square.
Yeah, interesting.
Absolutely.
Very interesting. It's that time again, though.
Order!
Well, I mentioned it in commentary there. Rob Stiles, please have a look at this morning, and tomorrow morning take away that red card for Nikos Dabisas, because Jonathan Johansson is as responsible as Nikos Dabisas is, because it's 6 of one and half a dozen. The fact is he's running away from the goal as well, Jonathan Johansson, so it can't be a clear goal scoring opportunity. You've given the penalty, okay, you know, we accept that because it's clumsy. At worst we accept that, but it's definitely not a sending off. We just look at it from this final angle and just watch the arm come across from Jonathan Johansson there. That entangles Dabisas's hand, and then they're together. Anything can happen after that. He falls to the ground, and should that red card stand, innocent or guilty?
Maybe the red card was a bit harsh. I think it's a penalty from my point of view. I mean, I took the cross, distributed the ball.
Yeah, by the way, let's credit the assist.
Sin that the ball was on.
Let's credit the assist.
Sin the ball was on.
Well, the penalty was given anyway, so that's not a problem. But the sending off, should it be rescinded?
I would say maybe a little harsh. Yeah.
James,
you've got a case.
But don't you think we said as well? A penalty and a yellow card. Even if he's going to give him a yellow card, a penalty and a yellow card's enough.
Well, the penalty's enough. We don't need the yellow card.
Yeah, okay, penalty's enough.
You had the one.
I gave away a penalty last week.
In Lewis Bournemouth, and the referee, what was his name?
Matt Messias.
Was it Matt Messias?
Yeah.
He was brilliant.
To be fair, I mean, I said to him going off at half time, I thought it was a real sensible way, because I think you can fall into the trap that people think there's a penalty, so therefore automatically there must be, well, there's a sending off, there's a card or whatever, and he didn't do that with me, which is right and proper. But you know, I said to him going off at half time, I think you're really sensible, because it was a penalty. It was a straight foot race between me and Bo Morty.
Yeah, he got
a little, you know, a big toe, you know, past me, and I brought him down.
There you go.
It's a foul in the box, penalty,
that's it. Yeah,
absolutely.
What about these the penalties? And let's talk different styles, if you like. We saw Paolo Di Canio yesterday. Let's have a look at this. Here we go. Because come on, Dean. What's his theory behind it?
What, you want me to tell you what Paolo Di Canio's thought process is? I'm sorry, Rob. I have to pass on that.
Does he psych you out in training as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when he's got the ball at his feet, as a goalkeeper, you can stand and be very hopeful, and you hope that he hits you with the ball, because you know he does some great stuff. So 12 yards away in the middle of the goal, you're going to back him.
Okay. By the same time, you talked about this theory about defending a free kick, and the wall does half a job, and etc. Man on the line. Ian Walker was possibly thinking he's going to chip it down the middle. Why don't more goalkeepers just stand in the middle and take that chance?
Because when they stand in the middle and it goes bottom corner, you know, you say, well, why didn't he make an attempt?
No win situation.
Yeah. So it is very, very difficult. It really, really is. For me, I think you've got to go bottom corner. You've got to go one way or the other, definitely.
Even when he's doing this?
Well,
that was the one at Leicester that you mentioned. Just
well,
that was only in front of the cop as well.
I'd love to see a goalkeeper, stand and maybe and take it down on his chest. Maybe that'd be.
It would be brilliant.
That'd be novel, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Because well, we talked about the penalty last week that you gave away.
I was at the game last week, and I mentioned it straight away as soon as I see it. You jumped up and grabbed the crossbar, and for me, I thought you lose that momentum to decide which way you're going to go.
Well,
tell us why you did it. Just watch it now.
I'll tell you for why. Because that's the frame of the goal. That's the target he's shooting at. And my thinking is that if you can take the taker's eye off the ball, or you know, in phase him in any way. It worked with Shearer. I did it against Alan Shearer the other week, and I saved his penalty. He got the rebounding, but I was fortunate.
Well, exactly the same thing. Jump up and touch the
I went down to the University of Cardiff, and there's a professor called Mike Hughes who notation analysis, and he's a leading figure. And he did a massive study on penalties. I went down, took all the details, and had 2 or 3 hours with him. And it's fascinating stuff.
What's the theory? What were the conclusions?
Well, I mean, it is that a base penalty is bottom left or bottom right. That's where people feel comfortable. You know, Shearer can do most things with the ball, but his sort of base camp penalty is bottom.